Development update. The road to Shadowlands. In 7 weeks, the brave heroes of Azeroth will venture into the Shadowlands to confront the forces of the mysterious Jailer and discover the nature of Warcraft's afterlife. As our development shifts from implementation of new designs and content towards polish and tuning of the world we've crafted, I'd like to offer a roadmap for what to expect over the coming weeks on the beta servers. All right. So on a technical note, players, paying close attention to the beta client may notice that this week's update, blah, 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 blah. Where is the PvP? Alt leveling? Yeah. Torghast progression? Yeah. Actually, maybe Torghast progression is good. Okay, so a number of players in the past couple of months on beta have raised concerns about what seem like excessively lengthy introductory questlines in Torghast, which at their worst could feel like 5 or 6 successive tutorials that had to be completed before players could access the real feature. In a coming build, we're restructuring the way Torghast is unlocked, such that players gain full access to the main wing after just a single introductory run that will grant access to the Rune Carver. The remaining quest to locate and rescue Chain and Throw will be incorporated into a larger quest line that spans the 6 main Torghast cell blocks, rewards legendary crafting materials, and eventually unlocks the twisting corridors. Great. So it's going to be easier getting into Torghast. That means for PvPers, I'm assuming we'll have to do Torghast. We'll be able to get into it sooner. So this is a thumbs up from me. This is a +1 from me. This is a good job, Blizzard, from me. Personally. All right. Speaking of twisting corridors, so we finalized tuning. Twisting corridors should come into its own as the challenge mode wing of Torghast. Cool. All right. That's another +1, I suppose. Covenants! Covenants are the centerpiece of Shadowlands and have been a subject of passionate discourse across the community over the past couple of weeks, which have been mirrored by discussion and debate within our team. From the system's first conception, selecting a Covenant was crafted to be a weighty decision, shaping a character's abilities, cosmetic rewards, and access to endgame story arcs and Sanctum systems. A weight decision almost by definition comes with some amount of stress, whether anxiety about making the wrong choice or just evaluating various pros and cons and wishing there was a way to get the best of all worlds. In designing the system, we've done what we can to minimize the burden of regret. Those measures should be fully enabled by next week's beta release. While picking a Covenant at the end of the journey to a max level is a weighted choice, it is not a permanent one. If you find that for whatever reason you're unhappy with your initial Covenant pick at level 60, you'll need to return to Oribos and you can immediately switch to a different one. Now, if you later wish to rejoin a Covenant that you've left, that is slightly more involved. There is a path to redemption consisting of a series of 2 weekly quests to atone for breaking your vow and to rededicate yourself to the Covenant's cause. These quests are now available for testing in beta, and they are still being tuned, but the intent is that they are largely ceremonial rather than feeling like an arduous grind. So you can change to a new Covenant, but if you want to go back to your old one, you need to wait 2 weeks, but you can change to a new one immediately. It's not the worst. I thought it was going to actually be worse. I thought they were just going to be like, nah, you're stuck for it. Yo, Will, thanks for the sub, man. I appreciate that. Thank you. We've also taken steps to ensure that a player who switches Covenants, as well as one who reaches max level later on in the expansion, never feels permanently behind as a result. Renown measures the strength of a player's connection to their Covenant and is the main vehicle for unlocking additional soulbind powers. Players primarily earn Renown via weekly quests to gather an email from across the Shadowlands and to rescue scrolls from the Maw and restore their rightful place in the Covenant. Players that miss any of these quests, however, they will find they can earn Renown directly through a range of activities until they're fully caught up. That's a +1 for me. You can get fully caught up if you're behind immediately, right? We don't have to wait for this. We can instantly get caught up from just grinding all this kind of stuff. That's cool. That's rad. This is kind of rad. This is good so far. System will be functional in beta in the coming weeks. Cool. In short, a player who regrets their Covenant choice and wants to change their mind should be able to do so straightforwardly at any point in the expansion, and they'll be able to reach a state with no long-term drawbacks or disadvantages compared to someone who had that Covenant all along. Great job, Blizzard. This sentence right here, fantastic. I like it. This is a lot to read. Do I even need to read the rest? Can I skip this chat? Oh my goodness. All right. Jelly Squishes, thanks for the prime. Hell yeah, is in the chat for Jelly. I appreciate it, Jelly. We've also heard from many players, rather than being worried about regretting their choice, would prefer they have to not choose at all. They have advocated that We offer a way to switch among the various active abilities offered by Covenants without friction. These Covenant systems are thoroughly intertwined. Covenant abilities are often modified by Covenant-specific conduits and Soulbind. Most of the Soulbinds are unlocked through Covenant-specific narrative campaigns. Granting access to one of these without the other lead to an incomplete or confusing result. In short, pulling on that thread would unravel the entire fabric of the system. Even so, we would embrace the work required to rebuild the Covenant system along those lines if we agree that it would be an improvement, but we ultimately do not share that view. Okay, sure. They're just talking about it. If we're starting an arena match, engaging in a raid boss, running a dungeon, a character in Shadowlands can change their spec, talents, legendary item, other equipment, active soulbind, and chosen path within the soulbind. How? I wonder how we're gonna do this. Is it gonna be on a little like mission report like this, you think? Interesting. That's cool though, I guess. That's gonna be so much to change. All right, we're fighting RMP. Looks like I'm gonna go to my tank spec, my tank talents, my tank PvP talents, my tank legendary item, my tank equipment, my tank soulbind, and my tank soulbind path. How are you even gonna do that in 60 seconds? I think they need to make this simpler, man. There's like too many things to worry about personally, but that's fine, I guess. When it comes to customizing your loadout, the set of tools you're going to take into a given encounter, WoW offers more options than ever before. You can almost entirely reshape your character on the fly to suit the moment. But as malleable as those choices are, none of them, other than perhaps your spec, defines your character. I don't know. It seems like too many things, but hey, whatever. We'll see how it plays. We'll see how it feels. Anyway, we'll skip to the PvP itemization. This is what we've all been waiting for. We've been following the constructive feedback about the range of gear available on our PvP vendors. And we agree with the underlying concerns. While WoW is an interconnected ecosystem of different content and systems, and we feel that the very strongest characters should be the ones who participate and excel in a wide range of activities, each individual progression path should offer the majority of the tools required for the success in that path. Woo! Yeah, baby. Oh, I could just read this all day long. That is what I am talking about. The current PvP vendors fall short of that goal. Yes, it's happening, team. This is phenomenal. We are considering a few different solutions, such as reworking the stat coverage of the vendor and or providing PvP specific bonuses through those items. As soon as we've settled on a direction, we'll share our plan for our feedback and get changes. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, so like I said, whether they choose to do set bonuses or whether they choose to do stat coverage of any stats, it's fine. So what stat coverage means is, like I say, haste and versatility are the best for mage, which they are right now. It means that the vendor should have more haste and versatility options. Now, if they do PvP set bonuses, it would be great if the set bonuses were actually good enough so that everyone had to use them, meaning 10% damage in PvP combat, 10% tankiness in PvP combat, or significant PvP benefits on the set bonuses. Like something that you could not play without, then the set bonuses would be fine. What would be bad is if the set bonuses were bad. Like, you know, Frostbolt gives you an additional 5% slow. Like, I don't know if that'd be worth it over just better stats. Or if it was like, I don't know, you know, Ice Lance does, you know, an additional 1% damage stacking up to 10. It's like no one cares about 1% damage. You know what I mean? So I hope the set bonuses are actually good, not bad ones. Other than that, if they're good set bonuses or they have good stat coverage, this is 2 thumbs up, man. This is great. This is incredible. That's what I'm talking about, dude. Let's go. All right, final thing here on this blue post. Sockets, while we eliminated Warforging and Titan Forging in Shadowlands. +1. With the goal of increasing clarity and player agency over words, the question of how to handle sockets was not quite as clear cut. Clear cut, get it? Sockets. Jewels. Clear cut. A critical mass of sockets across all player gear is essential to support jewel crafting as a player profession. In recent expansions, the chance for any endgame item to upgrade to a socketed version gave players of all playstyles the opportunity to interact with jewel crafting trade skills. At the same time, sockets unquestionably constitute power and can be Every bit as impactful as Warforging. Okay, cool. What are they going to do? Trying to balance these considerations, the approach we've settled on for Shadowlands is to keep sockets as a random item property, but to allow players to add sockets to their items via consumables sold by Venari in the Maw, similar to Gouge Eyes in the recent Visions of N'Zoth update. Nice, we don't have to wait for it, dude. Yes. This way, all players can take advantage of gems, and seeing a socketed item drop offers a short-term efficiency advantage. But in the long run, competitive players can still make steady progress towards best-in-slot gear without relying on additional layers of randomness. Let's go, baby. Finally, in order to limit the total impact of gems and the power gap between players, the full sockets and those without, and Shadowlands only, helms, rings, neck, bracers, and belt have a socket randomly generated or added by Venari. These changes should be active within the week. Do I like that? I think I like that. Maybe that's a good thing, actually. I don't know. Why helms? It almost should just be rings, neck. Yeah, why helm? I don't know. Yeah, that's fine. It's just maybe a little confusing. Meta gems, maybe? Yeah, maybe meta gems. It's maybe a little confusing, but I like it, I think. I like that there's less sockets that we need to farm. That's cool. That's great. I just think it maybe is a bit confusing for new players. Like, oh, you can only socket, you know, these 5 items. Like, well, why? Why, you know? Maybe make it more... Yeah, it's fine. It may be just a bit confusing. All right, so the one thing above all the topics that have in common is the driven, passionate feedback throughout the development process, which has helped shape the game for the better over the past year. And a special thanks to all the testers on beta. Blizzard is listening, team. This is a good, like, my favorite thing about all of this is that it looks like they are listening. It looks like they are finally listening, and it makes me so happy to read. This is a great change. This is a great change. This is a pretty solid change. This is a great change. This is all good stuff. Thank you, Blizzard. Yes. I love to see that.